AKAPADers, welcome to episode 582 of AKAPAD's The Film Buff Podcast. We're talking pleasure. This is somewhat related to our previous movie, Red Rocket 581. That's right, we're talking pornography. Guys, I'm not going to keep saying that word. This movie is about adult entertainment, the adults doing adult things, doing blasphemous things. Send them to hell. But we have a movie, and this is the greatest movie about the porn industry. Now, Red Rocket is also a study of this industry, but that's more of a character study. Great characters throughout every single scene of Red Rocket. Pleasure is characterless. This is a characterless movie. But before we get into it, welcome back. I am Peter A. DeLuca, a.k.a. Pad, your film buff, your obsessive commentator, watcher. I watch a lot of movies, and my goal with this podcast, and you guys know it, every single movie I've seen, because I keep a list, I'm going to bring to you every single movie. And my goal, other than that, maybe I got two goals, but my other goal is to discuss every single movie ever made. It's a lofty goal, but I love pursuing it. I love movies. I grew up with movies. My family was a movie family. My father would stay up all night, VHS, recording Back to the Future, recording Indiana Jones, Aliens, Excalibur, Superman, The Warriors, and he would with a felt tip marker draw these amazing labels. And we were like the only kids in the neighborhood. We had our own movie VHS collection without buying anything. And then later, well, we bought a hell of a lot of VHSs too. I was, back in the day, VHS library. My parents' basement was part Blockbuster, part art studio, part comic book store. I did it 20 years before people started showing off their collections on YouTube. I was the innovator, the original film hoarder. But now we have this podcast, we have technology, we're available on every single network for podcasting. And guess what? Film criticism's dead, but I am beating life back into it. I'm sorry. I monitor the commentators. I monitor the monitors very much. A lot. I hate what they say. I hate their positioning. There's some out there, but not many. Film commentary, film criticism is living here. But welcome back. Pleasure 2021, starring Sophia Capel as Lena. And then throughout the rest of this movie, we have a who's who of adult entertainers. So if you watch Any Given Sunday, my favorite, the best football movie ever made by the great Oliver Stone, written by the even greater John Logan, that's a who's who. It's great to watch Any Given Sunday if you're familiar with NFL history, and you pick out endless walk-ons, cameos, one-line roles. It's just fun. It makes the film-going experience a little bit more fun. Well, this movie does that with adult entertainment. And I guess, like, if you recognize the names and the faces in this movie, you are a piece of crap. You should not recognize any of these names. Now, I'm not going to get into it, but we do have Chanel Preston, Kendra Spade, Gina Valentina. I'm just going off of a little bit of what's on my memory. I don't think, is James Dean in this? James Dean might be in it, but it really is like a who's who. And we got people, legends of adult film in front of and behind the camera throughout this entire movie. And then, so this movie's characterless, right? That's where we left off. No character. Here's what I mean. There's no character in this movie set up for you to root for them, to cheer for them. It's not set up in a way that we want a character to succeed and to defeat the forces of evil and have a hero's journey. This is a movie that highlights the introduction of talent into adult entertainment in a absolutely true way. It's almost as if like you're listening to a podcast, and and we made a reference to the Pornhub podcast before, because that's how I was introduced to Sean Baker. If it wasn't for that, I would not have found this movie either, because I was so enthralled with Red Rocket. I was like, I just need more adult entertainment dramas. Is there any more out there? This one came up. I believe it was available on my Paramount app via Showtime. Moving forward. But this movie comes off as if someone, tells you the beats of their career, how they got into the industry, how they did their butt training for a double penetration, how they broke down during their first gonzo scene, their overall idea of what they wanted to get out of the industry, how they idolized some of the people above them in the industry and later got to work with them and find out that person is just a person. Stuff like that. We go through some of the health. We get through, we get a very smelly, iffy, the business downstairs, and it turns into a strap-on scene. So we see like problems and solutions, and this is the thrilling part. But in no way do we get like a character where you're like, oh, I just hope. In Red Rocket, we root for that dude throughout the entire movie. We just want this guy to succeed. We want him he's struggling so hard, and we feel for him. But this movie is more or less an expose of what it takes to do it. And then at that point, it's a fight. It's a fight to maintain relevancy, to get your scenes, to work multiple times a week. But there's people built for it. And that's all. I feel like that's what the point of this movie is. I feel like our protagonist, Lenina, Sophia Capel, who looks very similar to Gabby Carter, by the way. I thought it was Gabby Carter when I first saw this, when I was first watching it. But we get a visceral, hardcore, gut-wrenching movie that is uncomfortable to watch just from the subject nature alone. Now, could this movie be better and be different if it went all in? If this, in effect, was a true XXX movie done in this dramatic style? I feel like that's where this movie should have went. This movie, I get it, like it's available on stream, so it's got to be rated R. But I feel like if we're really making a movie and we're trying to make a statement and we're trying to make something memorable, there would be another cut of this movie where it is absolutely hardcore. It's not. And I think the movie suffers for it. Because if we're not going to have likable characters, give us scenes, shock and awe us, give us everything. That's what she said. But it's a hell of a directorial feat. Ninja Thunberg, I believe she's from Sweden. This girl deserves a lot of credit because this movie looks lean, mean, doesn't look like it costs too much. She gets performances out of adult actors that you just don't think exist because you're told they don't exist. But I think this movie's transformative in that. I would love to see this movie remade into an absolute hardcore X-rated epic. I believe it's there. This is not Boogie Nights. This is the industry. This is the real deal. And you get few industry movies that get it like this close, that you feel it gets it this close. I don't know for a fact because I never done it, but you feel that it gets this close. And I don't know. I think when it comes to us sitting down as audience members experiencing a movie for the first time, it's significant. It really is. AKAPADers signing out. I gotta go. So up next, episode 583 will be the introduction to the 31 Days of Dread. And that's going to lead into day one of the 31 Days of Dread, October 1st. And that's one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. But we're going to do The Exorcist, and then we're going to do Bug. So be on the lookout. But I'm going to go through a lot of the movies, a lot of my ideas, a lot of my methodology into the 31 Days of Dread. And then at that point, we're going to fight tooth and nail, pun intended, to do midnight drops because they're spooky. I love that idea. So let's go, people. Rock and roll.